The Weekly Warp Pipe.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Weekly Warp Pipe, a podcast dedicated to retro video games, 80s and 90s toys, and all things nostalgia. This week, we're jumping in the Warp Pipe and going back and taking a look at Christmas presents we received in the 80s and 90s. G.I. Joes, Nintendo games, and probably some socks. So we're going to dive into some of those stories, and we asked you guys if you had any stories you could share with us as well. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Let's get into it. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Weekly Warp Pipe. I'm RussLyman.
What's up, guys? It's me, NES Addict.
Yes, back at it, and we're going to be doing some fun Christmas-themed episodes because now it's December, baby.
Absolutely.
Quick plug, if you guys are looking for something awesome to listen to, my band Saturday Matinee has a Christmas album that is on Spotify and iTunes. It's called 'Tis the Season. Our band name is Saturday Matinee. We got 5 songs on there with an original. We did a few music videos on my YouTube channel on RussLyman, so you can check it out there to get you into the holiday spirit.
What a great name, by the way. Saturday Matinee.
Yeah, I love going to the movies, so
I love that.
Pretty catchy, I think. Also, quick shout out to the Dorkening Podcast Network. We're in the process of getting integrated over on their website, and everything will be fed over there. And then, we'll be good to go. And super excited to be on there with plenty of other awesome podcasts. I keep hopping into a lot of them on there because they'll have random broadcasts, and they're like, "Hey, we need another person." I'm like, "Hey, I'm free. I'll jump in." Russ from the Weekly Warp Pipe here.
That's right. Plugging it. All day, every day.
Every day. So this week we decided to do Christmas presents that we remember receiving from back in the day. We're jumping in the Warp Pipe, going back to the 80s, maybe the 90s, where we got some awesome toys, video games, and probably some socks.
For some socks for sure. and maybe a sweater with a big bird knitted on
it. That you had to wear the rest of the day on Christmas.
That's right.
Sweet. So I'll start off with the music one.
Okay.
So growing up, I was huge into the band Bush. They were like my favorite. 16 Stone came out. I was like, this album's awesome. And I found out they were going to be on a Christmas CD with a bunch of other artists. And it was in, magazine or something like that. I forgot how I found out. And so I told my mom I wanted it, and I knew she got it. Okay. Here's the CD itself.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see this.
It's a weird cover.
That's very 90s-esque.
Rockin' for Choice. Come all ye faithful. I think that's the name of the CD on here. We got Henry Rollins is on this. Sponge. I'm trying to think. President of the United States of America. Who else is on here? Well, obviously Bush. But the point of the story is I wanted to hear the song so bad, and I knew my mom had it in the house somewhere, and I found it, and I very carefully opened the seal and slid the CD out and went to the CD player, popped this bad boy in, listened to the song, put it back, and then seal that baby back up, and then I was surprised, Christmas Day.
Was it like, don't let Christmas go by, Christmas Day? I should have got another present or two.
I love your impression of Gavin. I can't even remember what the song sounds like. Honestly, I'm going to have to throw it. I don't know if it's on Spotify. I have like a Spotify pop punk playlist, but I'll add Bush to it. But yeah. Oh, it says the names around the. I didn't even realize it on the front cover here to the other artist on here. But yeah, pretty neat.
That's so funny. I'm gonna have to definitely get on YouTube and find that. So I loved Bush too. 16 Stone was a great album. I was slightly sad. I did not think the follow up was as good.
Oh, Razor Blade Suitcase.
Razor Blade Suitcase. It was all right. It just didn't hit the way 16 Stone did.
Gotcha. I was excited. No Doubt put out a dope Christmas song. If we're talking about Christmas songs, Ode to the World, is it? Oi to the World, I think it is.
Yeah.
It's very early, no doubt. Ska horns and everything, and that always comes up when I'm listening to like my playlist, and I'm like, yeah, this is a
Well,
good one.
Blink 182 also has a dope Christmas song.
That's
I won't
true.
be home for Christmas. I
my
won't be
band,
home.
we covered it. We did a show in New Hampshire, and we put that on. We covered that. I ended up my friend, my drummer ended up playing keyboards on it, and our friend jumped on the drums. We practiced like 2 days for him to drum, and I think I have a recording of it because the place we played was called the Sag Cafe, and they would record your show live and then give you a disc at the end. And so I have it somewhere of us covering Blink.
Did some guy named Bubba unwrap your package?
He did not.
Good. That's freaking rad. I love that. So I'm going to go back in the warp pipe to 1989.
I love how you always know the neat years. Like, I'm just in general, like this time, and you're like this date.
My memory is like chronologically in order, so everything has to have a date. It's usually a specific event or like a girlfriend that's associated with the year. Anyway, 1989.
Gotcha.
Everybody on their brother had a freaking Nintendo except me and my neighbor Amy. And I was begging my family for one. I was like, no matter what they said, what do you want for Christmas, Jay? Nintendo.
Right.
So, hey, Jay, you want this T-shirt? No, I want Nintendo. What about some G.I. Joes? Oh, no, Nintendo. Like I didn't care what it was. My mom was really funny because she was always like, quantity over quality.
Okay.
And yeah, I was like the kind of kid that's like, look, you could literally just buy me the Nintendo as long as it has one game with it, and you could not buy anything else, and I'll be stoked.
Yeah.
But she would spend the same amount of money knick-knacking me to death and not get the one thing I really wanted. Anyway, so this is all on video. It's actually on my YouTube channel. It's like it was like my ode to my retro life.
Okay.
I did like a video like very similar to how they do theirs, Tyler over there.
Yeah.
As kind of like a little love letter just because I love that channel so much. So Christmas morning, I get up and I open all my gifts, and my dad's like, I'm looking around the tree, like there's got to be something else. There's got to be something else over here. Like the one thing I want isn't here. And my dad's like, what you looking for, Jay? And I'm like, I don't know if I'm like ignoring him or like, he's like, what you looking for, Jay? And I was like, oh, I'm, just for presents. I'm trying to be like not a spoiled brat and
right. Yeah. Where's my Nintendo?
Not disappointed,
Yeah.
And I think I said it or he said, he's like, oh, you didn't get a Nintendo? And he's like, oh, well, maybe next year,
Yeah.
And so like I'm opening up a Ninja Turtle, and I honestly think it was Sewer Surfing Mike to be exact.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm looking at the little comic book that come with it because it has like some little jokes, that kind of came in a little paper. And in comes my brother with this one last gift, and it was like a perfect shape of like an NES action set.
Yeah.
And he's like, what do you think it is, Jay? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this with my really awful North Carolina accent that I had yet to shed. So it probably sounded something like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. It sounded like such a redneck. And so I pulled the wrapping off.
Yeah.
And it was the Nintendo.
Nice.
And it was like the greatest present ever.
The anticipation, like, you're like, yes,
yeah,
locking this bad boy up.
And then that's exactly what I said. I'm like, let's go hook it up. And he's like, all right.
Like, nope, we gotta have dinner first.
Well, no, they're like
Christmas lunch.
They had to tell me the whole story of how I got it. They're like, Santa Claus didn't have to bring this gift. My brother, who was probably about 16 years older than me, so if I was 8 in 1989, he was probably like, what is 8 plus 16? Like 24. So he probably didn't have much money. So him and my aunt were like 50-50 on it. I guess it was like $100.
Okay.
Literally 50-50. And they got it for me. So my brother gave me probably my greatest present of my lifetime.
Wow. How about
as a kid.
that?
So good job, Wayne. And anyway, so yeah, we played it, and it was like the best Christmas ever.
There we go.
And that's how I became NES addict.
Perfect. A little backstory there.
That's right.
I don't think
What
I
else
could
you
top
got?
that. I think we'll just end the episode there.
All right, we're done. 9 minutes, 37 seconds, out.
I will reiterate in case you guys missed last episode, we were talking about Black Friday sales. My birthday is in December. It's December 19th. So very close to Christmas. So a lot of times my gifts kind of mesh together. Like you said, I would almost get like one big gift rather than a whole bunch of small gifts. I'm like, hey, can I just get this? So I did end up getting the Nintendo Wii as a birthday present. My dad gave me the money for it. I stood outside Best Buy after Thanksgiving for Black Friday because I knew they were getting some in, and ended up getting that. And super stoked to have the Nintendo Wii and play that. Other than that, I was early back. I don't know a date, like Jay, unfortunately. But it was in the 90s, and I was playing a bunch of handheld games. Had my Game Boy Color came out, was playing that. Always a good time to sit on the couch, and I really wanted to get the new Zelda game that was coming out, so I was anticipating on Santa bringing me some new Zelda action to play, because you play it on Nintendo. You're like, this is great. Wait, they got it in handheld mode, so ended up getting boom, Zelda,
Nice.
Link's Awakening, Game Boy Color. Look at that. It's got the price tag, Electronic Boutique. It was only $30.
So Game Boy Color, what year do we think that came out? Like 94, 95?
Well, let's see. What does it say in the box? It says 93 copyright.
Oh,
and
93.
1990. It does 1998 Nintendo of America.
Okay, so that might have been a bit later.
Right. But this
Is
game
that your original?
was great. Yeah.
And it still has a cellophane on it?
Yeah.
Nice work, Russ.
Keeping it clean.
That's cool.
Yeah, big Zelda fan. So, playing through this, I was like, this is great. Top down Zelda's where it's at.
Yeah.
None of this,
and it was in
this
color.
Zelda 2. Right. You get the bonus dungeon too. Includes new secret dungeon on here. So you have the color dungeon as
and you said $29.99.
Yeah.
That's not bad for some Game Boy Color action.
Yeah. So get that on the handheld, play, and then you can sit around. Usually for Christmas, we would go to my aunt's house for dinner. I would open gifts at mom's. Then we would travel to my aunt. So hey, you could bring this on the go. If I got a Nintendo game, I couldn't play it because we were leaving.
That's right. Wait a minute now. Wait a minute. I just had an epiphany because I'm not a Game Boy fan. I'm not, even though I love Nintendo, the Game Boy did not strike me. Game Boy Color, is the color in that referring to the color of the console or the color of the screen? Like, was it like a Game Gear, like screen color? I can't talk.
So it was color, but it still wasn't backlit.
Okay.
So it wasn't like crisp color.
But it had some color. Right. Okay. So it wasn't like you got a neon green Game Boy that still played black and white.
Right.
It had color. Okay, cool.
Unless you got a Game Boy Pocket that was neon green. It was just smaller, but wasn't in color. So because you got the Game Boy Color, the Game Boy Pocket.
My Game Boy knowledge is minimal, and that's a perfect segue into the next thing I got.
Oh yes,
because even though I am the NES addict, if it was a handheld, if I had a handheld YouTube channel, it would probably be Game Gear addict. Nice. Because I welcome to the next level, and I got a Game Gear. So to me, the Game Gear was like the best of both worlds, right? Mm-hmm. Because I really wanted a Genesis.
Okay.
But I already had Super Nintendo, so there was no way I could talk mom and dad into doing that. But I was able to talk them into a handheld because I didn't have that for the road. So I got a Game Gear. So this was probably Christmas of '93, the year after Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Because I got that '92. And all I wanted was a Game Gear. I had wanted it since the previous Christmas. So like 12 months of waiting for this thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because my buddy Chris got one, and I was like in love with it. So we were getting ready to drive to Myrtle Beach to see family, and it was just me and my dad. And he took me up to Service Merchandise, which is now a BI-LO. For those of you in the South that know what a BI-LO is, for those of you in the North that don't know, it's just a grocery store.
Oh, okay.
And he took me to Service Merchandise, and I got my Game Gear with Sonic 2, and he let me pick out one game. And the craziest, my dad was a Baptist minister, so he was pretty conservative.
Right, right.
But he let me get Mortal Kombat, and it had the blood code. So I don't know if he just didn't care.
He's like, keep the violence in the video game.
Yeah, yeah. You can kill people on games, but not in real life, son.
Right.
So saith the Lord. Anyway, so that was what I got for Christmas of '93, and ended up getting Echo the Dolphin.
Right.
And then a couple of months later, I got Shinobi. But
I can never get anywhere in Echo.
Dude, I beat that game in 3 days as a 11-year-old.
Jeez.
I was obsessed. I mean, it has a passcode.
Right. So you go back to it.
And this is not really about Christmas, but about Echo the Dolphin. I think the Echo Dolphin, the game on Game Gear, is a better version than it was on the Genesis.
Okay.
So it's too bad they didn't have it for the Master System. If the Master System would have lasted a little longer, because it just controlled a bit better.
Okay.
I think Echo is a little hard to control on the Genesis version, but on the Game Gear,
it's too slippery.
Yeah, on the Game Gear, much easier for some reason.
All right.
So give that a whirl.
Give it a whirl. I'll ask maybe Santa will throw it in my stocking this year. Small.
But that was one of my other most favorite Christmas gifts of all time.
Get the Nintendo, got the Game Gear. You got
That's right.
Best of both worlds.
We're covered.
Well, I put this post out on our a YouTube page to see if any of you guys would respond. Maybe what some presents you guys remember getting back in the day. We got my buddy Jay, Square Pegs. The best Christmas ever was the year I got every single Tiger Force G.I. Joe figure and vehicle, and a box full of probably 10 NES games. The main ones I remember are Blaster Master, Ninja Kid, and Castlevania 2. I found out years later that my mom had gone to a store that was going out of business and found everything for under $5 a piece. Best Christmas ever.
10 NES games. That's a lot, man. It's a lot.
That's certainly a haul for a kid. Jeez, like all those G.I. Joes, 10 NES games. Man, you'd be busy for 2 years playing that.
Tiger Force, there was probably about 5 or 6 vehicles in that line. Because I know for a fact I had the helicopter that I got at the yard sale.
Yeah, and there had to be like a plane and some land vehicles.
There was at least like some kind of a Jeep looking thing. I know for a fact.
Let's see who else we got. Vots81. I remember receiving Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain one year. I also remember receiving Devastator and Megatron. Love the show and the channel. Hey, thanks so much. Yeah, freaking Masters of the Universe and Transformers. We love that stuff. I had to rebuy my Devastator. I definitely got Devastator growing up, but I don't know what happened to it. Somehow gone. So when I worked at the retro video game store, we started taking toys in. Devastator came in, and I had to have it. So I was like, boom, getting it.
In the mid 2000s, like probably around 2005 or 6, I went through a huge Transformers phase, and I was buying stuff on eBay left and right, and ended up buying a Chinese knockoff Devastator.
Some of those are pretty cool. I was like they have bigger, like the actual Devastator is like smaller than my water bottle, I think, here, but they have some like bigger ones, and I'm like, yo,
Devastator was like one of those Transformers that I just wanted so bad. And I remember we did a lot of yard sales when I was a kid. I got a tote full of Transformers, and I had 2 of them. It was like the bulldozer and then one of the other random ones. And I was just so happy to have those little green figures. That something about that green, that neon green.
Oh yeah,
really cool.
They did do a re-release where they were yellow.
That was Generation 2.
Yeah,
because Starscream was like pink and white.
Oh, okay.
So weird.
Let's see. We got 2 more on our YouTube here. Tony says, one year I got the TMNT sewer playset, and the next year I got the Technodrome. There you go. to complete your Ninja
Good
Turtle
guys and
set.
bad guys.
I never got the Technodrome. Definitely on my Christmas list. I ended up getting. It's like a smaller Technodrome. It's blue. It's like this big. I have it in back there. You won't be able to see it, but it was like a mini Technodrome, I guess. So I was like, all right. But I did get the it's like a drill. What was that vehicle? It had big drill in the front.
Oh, the module.
So I got that and the pizza thrower, of course.
Oh, that's cool. Pizza throw is classic.
Right. So that must have been one birthday, and I loved lining up the figures and shooting them down with my pizzas.
That's amazing. Yeah, that actually brings up another Christmas memory of me, but I'll let you tell yours next, Russ.
Well, I got one more comment here from Brian Burdick. Says, I remember getting the G.I. Joe Command Center, the big tank fortress. I didn't even know what else I got, but I remember building it and my dad helping. And
That's
that
so
memory
sick.
has guided me through many years of father and son building experiences. How about
Nice.
that? Yeah, this is something about that, getting a bigger toy back then and then putting it together with, your parents.
G.I. Joe toys were so much fun to put together too.
Yeah.
They were very like kid friendly. Like, they were complicated enough to make you feel like you were doing something really cool, but they were easy enough to like, if your dad didn't want to help you when you were 8, you could figure it out on your own.
You're like, let me put the decals on.
Hopefully not break any pegs along the way.
Yeah. So one of mine I could bring up was, again, it was a birthday present, but birthday Christmas. It's because it's so close, so they meld together. I guess, and it's gonna be sticking with a theme here. But my friends, I remember going out. We were at Hooters for my birthday, and funny enough, I'm trying to think what birthday it was. I was in my 20s, I would say, and we had brought Ninja Turtle mask to wear. I don't know why.
Amazing.
like paper, whatever, fake masks, just to have like fun or whatever. And then it came present time, and I got for the Wii Zelda Skyward Sword.
Nice.
Because I knew that one was coming out, and my friends knew I liked Zelda so much, and they're like, "Oh, gonna get Russ this," and I was like, "Oh man, it's gonna be awesome! It's got motion controls."
Yeah. Did you end up liking it?
I played it for a while and then stopped. So I'm curious if maybe if I buy it for the Switch, if I'll complete it. Like I did whatever you did in the sky, went down to the ground and found like a dungeon, but I didn't get too much further. So I don't know.
Sounds like me in Breath of the Wild.
I was like, I don't know. I still haven't beaten Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
I enjoy playing these Zelda games. Don't always beat them.
Breath of the Wilds, I'll have to play that when I'm in a retirement home someday and I have endless time.
You could just cut the grass while you're in there.
I don't understand how people beat that game.
David beat it twice. He beat it on the Wii U and Switch.
How do you get... I made it 30 hours in, and I was like, I can't invest any more time in this game. I could go beat Contra 100,000 times in the time I did this.
That's it.
My ADD, man. I can't focus for that long.
Fair enough.
So going back to the pizza thrower.
Okay.
1990, at Christmas at Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
I'd had the Nintendo about a year at that point. And the big thing for me, the thing I wanted more than anything,
okay,
because of the Wizard commercial, was Super Mario Brothers 3.
Right.
And a pizza thrower. So that Christmas, I got the pizza thrower, and I remember the thing that was so funny about getting the pizza thrower was my sister had her stupid husband at the time. They're divorced now.
Okay.
So he was stupid. Had him put together my pizza thrower.
Oh, like already, like took it out of the box, put it together, and then rewrapped it.
So I opened this white box, like a Belk's box or something, and there's a fully complete pizza thrower in there with decals and everything. And I remember the first thing I was like, "Is this used?"
Right, because like you're like, "Where's the actual box?"
And I asked my sister, I was like, "Where's the box?" And she's like, "Oh, I threw it away." And I was like, "What?" I made her get it back out. And then I threw it away.
You're like, I want to look at it and then throw it away.
Yeah. So, but I was so mad that they put it together. I wanted to do that. Like they stole that from me.
Right. That's part of the present.
Billy, if you're watching this, you suck. ruining my fun. No, I'm sure they thought they were doing me a big favor, but it was a bummer.
And then they didn't even include batteries. No.
No, I think they did have batteries, but that pizza thrower
Okay.
was awesome. But do you remember how loud that thing was?
Yeah,
It
to
was
rev up.
yeah. It was so fun though. It was a great toy, amazing toy.
I was putting I have it on display back there, and I was putting like Mikey in it, and I'm like, how does he not like fit in the seat? Like he's too small almost for it. Like they didn't proportion it correctly to what the figures are, I guess.
The other thing weird about the seat, it's creative for a toy, but if you think about it functionally, it would never work. It was a pizza box.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, because it had the pizza inside of it.
Oh, right.
It was like they opened up a pizza box and sat in it. How long would that last? Come on, Donatello, get it together. The other thing I got that Christmas was Mario 3, and there's a video of that on my YouTube channel too. And I'm like, Mario 3, just what I wanted.
Nice.
Mario 3. Oh, that's what I wanted.
Yeah, I don't have any videos. I do have a few photos somewhere. I'll see if I can pull up of me, I think, opening a present. But let's see. I posted on our Facebook page. It's not on the RussLyman Facebook page, not the Weekly Warpipe. I have a RussLyman YouTube Facebook page. Maybe we need to start a Facebook page just for the Weekly Warpipe. I don't know. Let us know. Who do we got? Evan. Evan said, I remember when the Sega CD came out, and it's all I wanted for Christmas. And Joe Montana football CD. After tearing apart most of the presents, I came across the Joe Montana Sega CD game, and it just filled with excitement. I opened up everything else, but there was a Sega CD system. Was there not one? Maybe you wrote this wrong. The presents were good, but I had a sad look on my face. I think they pulled what you did, Jay. My parents asked, well, isn't that the game you wanted? I said, well, yeah, but I don't have this system. As I explained to my mom with all my childlike knowledge about the different systems.
That's hilarious.
My dad slyly snuck off. The middle of my explanation went to silence. There in the hallway stood my dad with one last big Xmas bag. As my eyes grew big and my smile reappeared, it would be only a few moments before I opened the most memorable present I got as a child for Christmas. And he attached a little picture here of the Sega CD. It's the side-loading one.
Who sent that again?
Evan Zimble.
Evan.
Yeah.
Thank you for that amazing detail. I could picture myself being there. It was like watching A Christmas Story, but instead of a BB gun, you got a Sega CD. That was amazing. Dude, I can imagine how like stoked that kid had to be. Sega CD! I can play Joe Montana football.
I never played that on there. I wonder how good it was. I mean, Imagine had good voice sampling and stuff because it's CD.
Oh, it didn't matter how good it was. That's what he wanted. And that's what he got.
That's it.
That's all that matters.
Tom Electronics comment. I remember this being one of my top 5 presents of all time, along with the NES console, Super Mario 3, Sega Genesis console, and a Yamaha bass guitar. He attached a picture of the Rambo Savage Strike headquarters.
That sounds amazing.
It's like very like POW, like fortress with like a tank in there. I'm not exactly sure what comes in it, but
was
it looks
like 87, 88 when that thing probably came out?
It had to be, yeah. I remember definitely having a Rambo figure.
Me too.
And like a Chuck Norris figure too.
Me too. Yeah, me too. They were huge.
Those were cool.
They were cool. Did your Chuck Norris have that orange vest?
I don't think so. No. He might have had a white vest. I'm trying to remember.
They had multiple figures of him. So anyway.
Yeah. And what else we got? Tim Robbins. Oh man. One year I was probably 6, so around 1991, in the TMNT heyday. And I just wrote Ninja Turtles over and over. Lucky enough, they branded everything TMNT. So I got toys and slippers and pajamas and a tent.
That's so sick. Those tents were dope back then.
I don't remember the tent.
What? Come on,
Ninja
Russ.
Turtle tent? No.
They had everything as a tent.
Really?
Oh yeah, like
I remember
GI.
I got a Super Mario sleeping bag I picked up off of eBay, but I don't remember tents too.
Yeah, dude, they were little pup tents,
It's
just
like a
like
one-person tent.
single person, like something you would like have a sleep over in your room, like a camp out in your room,
Right. Sitting there, play your Game Gear.
whatever. Yep.
Those are definitely some awesome stories. Like again, yeah, I remember getting GI Joes, Ninja Turtles, Transformers, opening those up, and definitely having a good time playing with them.
You don't remember like one single item from like when you were really young that you just couldn't, like you just had to have it?
I can't pinpoint it. Again, it's tough because my birthday is so close to Christmas. So then a
Yeah,
lot of stuff is like, did I get that on my birthday? Was I opening it then? Or
it
was it
runs
Christmas?
together.
Right. Just certain stuff. I was like, okay, the Wii, obviously I stood out to get it. So I was like, okay, that was this time. But like a certain Ninja Turtle, like, oh, I want it Leonardo. And I remember
Yeah,
getting it age this age or whatever. Yeah, I can't put a finger on it.
dang. So I have a couple more. Because like my life from like 80, I think the reason I remember this stuff, Russ, honestly, my dad died in 95.
Okay.
We moved to Greenville in 88. So those 7 years are like locked into my brain forever. So I remember like each one of those Christmases like individually,
Gotcha.
as crazy as that sounds. Um, but Christmas of 91. So 89 got the Nintendo, 90 I got the Mario 3, 91 all I wanted so bad was a go-kart.
Oh,
Like
okay.
because we lived out in the country, like where you've been to my house, that's not exactly where I grew up. I grew up about
Okay.
20 minutes south of there, in this little community called Green Pond, for those of you in South Carolina. And
You went from
anyway,
Green Pond to Greenville.
yep, Green Pond to Greenville. We're moving on up. So every kid that lived in like the surrounding area had like a go-kart because there were fields, people had big yards. It wasn't like,
This is with a motor and everything, right?
yeah,
Like
this
a
is like a
Okay.
legit like gas powered go
Gotcha.
kart. Goes about 35 miles an hour, and so much like with the Nintendo, anytime my parents was like, "What do you want?" I was like, "Go kart, go kart," and they're like, "We can't afford a go kart." And I was out for school. It was Christmas Eve, and I feel like my mom or somebody, it was either my mom or my dad, but they were like, "We gotta go to the grocery store." And I was
Okay.
like, I don't want to go to the grocery store. I want to stay there and play, Nintendo or do whatever. I don't want to do that. Like, tomorrow's Christmas. Why are you taking me to the grocery store? Like, and basically they made such a big fuss about me going. In my head, I was like,
Something's up.
something's up. I better just go and stop causing a fuss. And so we go to the grocery store, and I'm like flipping out the whole time. And we get back, and whatever parent didn't take me was there, and they're like, "Oh, so did you guys get what you needed?" And they're like, "Yeah." And so like 30, 45 minutes roll by, and I'm like, I call my buddy Mark, who lives like down the street, like a bike ride away.
Okay.
And I'm like, "Hey, Mark, like, I need a reason to come to your house." And he's like, "Yeah, come on." He's like, "Yeah, we'll just hang out until, because it's Christmas Eve. Like, why not?"
Right.
So my mom's like, I was like, "I'm going to Mark's." And she's like, "How are you getting there?" I was like, "My bike." She's like, "Don't you go in that garage." And I was like, so I think my bike wasn't in the garage at the time,
Okay.
but I opened the garage door and there was a big blue tarp. And I flew the tarp up and I was like,
You did it.
I gotta go kart. I threw the tarp back down. I got on my bike and I rode my bike like as fast as possible to Mark's house. I was so jacked. So the next day, I open all my presents,
Yeah.
and like I get this like red helmet.
Oh, nice.
My brother, because like gotta wear a helmet. And they're like, "What you think that helmet's for?" And I was like, I'm trying to play stupid. Like,
Baseball?
I don't know what it's
Football?
for, my bike. And so finally I open up all the presents and there's a note in the tree and it's like, "Go look in the garage." So I went out and looked in the garage and there was this gorgeous blue go-kart. My dad, our mom had bought it used from somebody because it wasn't
Okay.
brand new, which was not a problem. Man, that go-kart was so fast. I could beat all the kids in my neighborhood except for the one
Wow.
that had the big black one. But yeah, one of the best Christmases ever. So that one ranks like neck and neck with the Nintendo because, like, you're like 11 years old. You're like driving. It feels like you're driving. It's like
Oh,
getting a
yeah.
car.
And you got free range too, because it's your go-kart. You're not in a track at a place.
Yeah, and we lived across the street from this big church parking lot. My dad preached at this church, so I could like ride it and do figure eights over there, and it was freaking rad.
Nice.
So much detail in my story. I'm sorry.
I know it. I did find some old pictures I could probably pull up. But here's one of me playing Nintendo.
Oh, sick!
At Christmas time, you could see like the stockings on the shelf and all that. And then I wish I knew. So I must have gotten this sweater for Christmas and this dope bandana. But this is me back in the day. I might have sent you that.
Oh yeah, that's sick. Look at little Russ. What a cute kid.
So if I could find that sweater, you know what? I could probably get that design. It says Mario Madness on it with Nintendo across. I'm sure you can like remake that, and I can get it printed as a sweater.
Yeah, that's sick.
I do have an old one here of me in my room with a Bulls jersey playing Nintendo with a NES Advantage controller with my Batman bed sheets and
that. Oh yeah, on the curtains there.
There are the curtains. I did have the bed sheets too. You could kind of see the comforter.
What's so funny about you in that Bulls jersey, Russ? I have a picture of me in 9th grade.
Yeah.
And I have on Airwalks and a Dennis Rodman jersey.
Nice.
I'll have to find it. We look very similar.
I never got into sports like watching it, but it was kind of like, well, what are the kids at school like into? Like, oh, it's cool to like the Bulls. Okay.
Yeah.
Get me a Bulls jersey, I guess.
Yeah, mid-90s, of course. Did you ever get a starter jacket?
I'm sure I had a starter jacket, yeah.
That was a popular thing, I remember.
Oh yeah. Trying to think if I have any other. That's all I put for notes, and everyone that wrote in for us there on Christmas stuff.
Well, I have one last story that I'll share. This was from when I was probably 20, 21.
Okay.
It's probably 21. This is probably like 2000. This is probably Christmas of 2001. And huge Blink-182 fan, humongous. It was around Christmas time. By this point, my mom was just letting me pick out my gifts. You know, like the year before, I had some really nice ice skates because I played hockey. So I walked into this guitar shop, and up on the wall was this yellow Fender. And I was like, that only has a volume knob. And I was like, that is yellow. And I ran up to it and flipped it around, and I was like, I bet this is Tom DeLonge's. And bam, a Tom DeLonge Fender Stratocaster. I called my mom, and I was like, I know what I want for Christmas. And she's like, how much is it going to cost me? And I was like, $350. And she's like, all right, that's all you're getting. I was like, that's not a problem. And I think I told the guy then and there, I was like, I'm getting this. And I was like, my mom will be happy to pay for it. Just put it in the back, and I will be back in like an hour with the money or whatever.
Nice.
I pretty much just went and got it.
Yeah.
But I was so stoked because like just to find it in the shop. I know you have one, right?
Yeah, so I have the seafoam green one. I'd never seen the yellow one like in stores. I'd always seen seafoam green, like that distinct color there.
So I found out the story behind mine being there. Somebody had ordered it.
Okay.
And then when they got it in, they decided they didn't want it.
Maybe they were like, it's too yellow.
I don't know, but whatever reason, it was a fluke. But I love it. I love that it's yellow. So
yeah, it came in that color. I think it came in black as well.
I think that was it. Seafoam green.
Well, I know there was a blue too.
Oh, was there?
I think it was called. I want to say it was Daphne blue.
Weird,
possibly, weird, but it's like a very light blue because the green is also like a minty light green, so they're almost similar colors.
I think had I been able to pick,
mm-hmm.
I would have probably wanted the seafoam green just because that's what you saw him playing the most on stage.
Yeah.
But I was happy with the yellow.
Yeah, it's certainly a fun guitar. I had a blast when I got mine. Mine very well could have been a Christmas birthday present / like that.
Yeah.
$350 though. That's what they were back then.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a really
2001.
Good I tried to search one now. They're like $800 or so. Yeah, like so high.
Yeah. I know. I thought about selling it, but I was like, man, I'll never get another one. I can't sell it.
And I don't like. He also came up with the signature after like I think it's a Gibson. That's the
Yeah,
wider body, and I'm like, I'm not a fan of that. I
yeah.
don't
It
like
has
that
like
one.
I think it has like a hollow body too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like anything he makes. I think it all looks good, but that Stratocaster was something special.
nice. Yeah, definitely miss playing music. Like I said, I was in a band Saturday Matinee, singer, guitarist, and yeah, we decided to write we did a full length album called Kings of This Year, and we went on tour. We did we played Fayetteville, North Carolina
Okay.
when we went through. And we also played Virginia Beach and a few other places. And then when we had got back from tour, I think it was the following summer, we decided to write a Christmas EP. I was like, oh, this would be dope. Like, let's write a Christmas. We could write a couple songs, maybe ourselves or do covers, because we've always heard staple Christmas album from like growing up was Relient K's "Let It Snow."
Yeah.
Was like the best. This is great. Like it's freaking Christmas music, but it's pop punk, and
Yep.
like they even got a couple like church songs in there, and I was like, this sounds awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've heard Russ's band, guys. He's a talented dude. There was one song, and it was like Step One or something like that.
Well, that was a cover we did of "Back at One."
Back at One. Yeah, that was
Brian McKnight.
okay. Yeah, I didn't know. Or is there one about you, like a story, like a book?
Well, oh, maybe so. Corner of Botsford and Grey Hill. The chorus goes in chapter 1.
Yes, that
Fell
song is
in love
great.
by
Yeah,
chapter 2.
that's an original song, right?
Yeah, that's an original.
Dude, that song is so dope. I would have loved your band.
Yeah, much appreciated. What is it?
Yeah,
So yeah, at the shows. Yeah, we did a music video for that one. That was probably one of my favorite songs writing. And yeah, we put together the Christmas CD and put it out. And I think last year I paid to have it on Spotify and iTunes, because we just did our own pressing of it in digital release when it came out back in must have been 2008, I want to say, when we released that one. But yeah, then I got some of the guys together and we did like a music video for 2 of the songs. We do Last Christmas I Gave You My Heart.
it's a good one.
We Wish You a Merry Christmas, Most Wonderful Time of the Year. What's the other tracks? Oh, we do Mariah Carey.
Oh, that's hilarious.
We had to like pitch it down. I had to play it so low because I can't sing that high.
Right, that's crazy.
So the key had to be like low. And we ended up playing it a lot slower than I anticipated. But still, it was pretty fun making a Christmas CD. So if you guys want to check it out, band Saturday Matinee, album is "'Tis the Season."
Did you ever hear Jimmy Eat World's version of Last Christmas?
Yeah.
Pretty good.
I was curious because I think I copied it from, I heard some other pop punk band do it. So I was like, oh, I kind of like this. And then I heard Jimmy Eat World do it. And I'm like, why did he skip a verse in his verse? Like he doesn't do one of the verses. And I was like, okay.
Weird.
I guess whatever.
I didn't
Still
notice that.
cool. Yeah. Little thing, from recording it. I was like, he's not doing this verse.
That's funny.
Oh, well. So Christmas. We're going to have some more Christmas topics. You guys could let us know what you want to hear. And then I'll be recording my Christmas special on the RussLyman channel. We got some fun segments we're going to be doing. Me and Steph just went to Mystic and saw a boat light show. Mystic is right on the water. So they had a bunch of boats decorated with like Christmas lights, and they were going up and down the river up there, and it looked awesome. So that I'm going to have a full video of that in there.
Nice.
Yeah. And then, if you guys want to catch us, you could find us at theweeklywarpipe.com. We got episodes every Saturday at 7 a.m. This is episode 34. So we got 33 other episodes you can dive into and feel nostalgia about. If you want to follow me on social media, it's at RussLyman. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter. And Jay, where do we find you?
I'm on TikTok and right here at the Weekly Work Pipe with my buddy Russ.
That's right. As always, guys, I'm RussLyman, and keep your world fun bit by bit.
Let's have an awesome